Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
I graduated from Cortland High School in 2009. I moved to New York City. I went to St. John's University. I didn't really study film.
Mhm.
Just working a bunch of hustle jobs, waitressing, dog walking, a bunch of stuff like that. And then Vincent, my brother, got some means together with a buddy of his, and they made a feature film called Victor Goodview. And
Mhm.
so I helped out and PA'd on the feature film. And then that kind of sent me into the direction of film and television. And then I started to get production assistant work. And from the production assistant work, started to make connections with people on set, vice versa, things like that, working on other people's stuff, people helping us. And then Vincent has always wanted to be a filmmaker. And so those connections started to like help us build a foundation for our own projects. And then we started working on this other feature film for quite a while. And when COVID happened and we shut down, we were wanting to get busy and do something that we could finish in completion. And so Vincent had this script called Jerry and Rick, and we jumped into it. We had a couple of days of shooting, and then that's been our most recent thing. And then I also work in television production
Awesome.
separately from our projects together.
How about you, Vincent?
Elena definitely summed it up rather well there. Victor Goodview was the maiden voyage. That was the first serious personal film project that I endeavored, and we definitely was definitely a definitely an exemplary example of biting off more than you can chew, which I think you're always doing when you're. I think that's the nature of the beast, but especially with this one because it was a feature. We set out to do a film, and it was a feature film, and Elena was involved with that, and soon after that, Elena started to work in production. And I think that's we were well on our way to becoming a pretty complementary team, because I'm pretty scrupulous when it comes to working on writing projects, to have something always on deck for us to put into production. And Elaine is constantly making these great connections, and on the bigger projects that she works on. Everybody loves Elena, and she's really good at hawking these small little passion projects of ours, and it seems to get people involved pretty steadily. Like why you say you ask, I don't remember. I've definitely always been I've been deluded since I was 2. But always wanted to do this. It's definitely in the family, but I think both sides of our family, back generations, it's a very like have very idiosyncratic like tastes and fascination with film.
Oh yeah, even both sets of grandparents and everything. Like
definitely, yeah,
big into the movies. Like I would go to my grandma's house for a Saturday to like stay over when I was like 5, and she'd be like, "Okay, these are the 6 movies that we're gonna watch."
Yeah,
like
right.
They were all into it.
Yeah. So and then just to backtrack to what Elena was saying a little bit, like we're still working on our second feature, which is this just like epic like indie film project that has been years now. It took us over a year to shoot. Blaze is actually in the film.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of a trip. We mentioned that he was a friend in common before, and it can be delicate to even talk about somebody that you've lost, but it's interesting for us to see him alive in the film. It's often with ease that we separate it. That it doesn't necessarily conjure up the worst emotions. It's just, I don't know. It feels like a bit of a blessing that we have that. Anyway,
Celebrating life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, he's in, the first scene that he's in the film is called The Celebration of Life.
Right. Yeah, because that feature is called Arbor Day, which is kind of this nonsense title. It kind of means something, it kind of doesn't, but it's really about three friends who lose a fourth friend, and they deal with it in different ways. And so, yeah, the scene Elena mentioned that we refer to as the Celebration of Life is like a party that the friends and their families have, but it's this kind of awkward get together where they're almost ignoring that they lost this person. And anyway, Blaze just happens to be this character, Harvey, who's there, just being he's just like a good fixture in the crowd, and then he winds up becoming a little more instrumental later in the story. But anyway, that is just this Leviathan project. So Jerry and Rick was just this like great, welcome, really creatively successful interlude, while working on this bigger thing. Jerry and Rick came together. We've been really tight with those two actors. They're in Victor Goodview. They're in Arbor Day. We love them. They're like kind of like our, muses to us. Especially Tammy. Not that Kenny's not also our muse, but Tammy's just this dynamo, and it's fun. It's fun to write for her, having gotten to know her and worked with her on some stuff. So Jerry and Rick came quick. It was like the first wave of COVID started to subside a little in New York. And we wanted to get together on something, but it was like it was still kind of delicate whether to get together on a production. Bigger productions, obviously, were already kind of, implementing safe ways of doing that. And yeah, the concept of, these two unlikely characters who are sharing this finite space and who, in spite of themselves, show this incredible amount of emotion. Which is elicited by something simple like a piece of music. That was the whole crux. And then we somehow got the bright idea to use these two characters, Jerry and Rick, which we had already developed previous to that, to frame this concept. So the writing was relatively quick. And then we got it together pretty quick, and we gave ourselves a couple of months.
Did COVID help?
Well, I mean, it was definitely it definitely triggered the project because we had more time. So it helped in the sense of time and scheduling because no one really had any plans.
Right, totally. So, but that's an interesting question too, because, we had to deal with the film department of Yonkers. And not too long after that, Elena was dealing with the same person, the film director or the director of the film department at Yonkers for the bigger show that she works on. Probably at that point, there was a little more red tape that people were having to deal with, right? Like half a year,
Well, it's just we had a crew of about 12,
yeah,
as opposed to on Ghost
right.
Season 1 is what we were shooting, or Ghost Season 1 still is like 200 something.
And with that being said, because the viewers don't know yet, tell them what show you're on. Because, I mean, a lot of them watch it and they don't even know.
Oh, right. Okay. So I work on...
they might have seen it in the background.
Sure. I work on one of the many spin-offs of Power. It's called Ghost Power Book 2. I've been on it since the first season now as a producer's assistant, and I'm still with the same producer, Greer Yaton, and we're in our third season now. We're in pre-production.
I think that's amazing. Because I'm looking even like at the backdrop. I know like I mean we're not I don't I mean you really can't see it, so I mean you should be good. in comes 50 Cent, right. Peace to 50, man. I grew up bumping 50, so Cortland voice shouts out 50 Cent. But no, I do think that's awesome that you that you're on that show and whatnot. Now, Vincent, are you doing something with that show too, or
no? I do. My involvement with film is purely creative and it's personal projects.
Gotcha. Well, I love how even though you have the personal projects,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and she's, you know, doing her thing with Stars in Power.
Yeah.
Still, it comes down to family.
Yeah. Hell
family.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, also we didn't mention. Yeah, Vin. I think you're going to say the same thing. Our little cousin Daniel is also a producer of Jerry and Rick, and he's in the film industry too. He works more commercial type situations and like non-union jobs, but he's right in there too. And he was with us for all of Jerry and Rick, and now, you know, for anything that comes.
Right.
Is to come. So it has definitely stayed in the family. And like our mother, who I think you know, she's definitely helped out with stuff. She did like catering for our first film and for Victor Goodview and for Arbor Day. She came down to the city and made trays of food for the crew. And our father is a painter and he's done artwork for us and a lot of things. So it's definitely stayed all together.
Now I see your mom all the time, and she told me, you know, like how her brother Tony has the good food and things like that. She never told me that she made good food.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to her. When I go down to the office. I'm gonna have to say, listen, next Sunday dinner.
Oh yeah, she came down.
Plate, and made,
she made like pulled pork for everybody and pasta salads, and she's done like crazy delicious stuff.
Awesome. Now, what is Six Henshaw? I see that on the. And you got it too. So
we both are wearing it. It's so funny.
Yeah, because I saw yours and then I looked at his and I was like, wait a minute. Now,
it's a store.
I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but I see the red and the blue. Is that where it's at? Or?
No, it's just, I actually got that for him for Christmas. My friend has a store in Inwood in the city called Six Henshaw, and they have.
Yeah, this is a great sweatshirt, and I love this.
No, it looks they look nice. I wasn't sure if that was part of a movie coming out or something like that.
It's not just a coincidence that we're both wearing them.
Gotcha.
It wouldn't be a bad title, actually.
No, I mean it's a great store.
Because it actually reminds me of the term Crenshaw.
Right.
I think there's a little play on the visual there.
Nah, for sure. So let me ask you this. For those who will see this, what would you like to say to them about Jerry and Rick? Like, what would you like? I'll give you both the second. Like, what would you like to say? Because I mean, obviously, you know, with the Cortland Voice, we hit definitely Cortland. You know, the Cortland County community, but the greater Cortland community. So I mean, their friends share. So I mean, it hits all over. So I mean, what would you like to say directly to them? You know, Elena, we'll start with you. What would you like to say to the community? You know?
I would say maybe like if you're gonna watch the film, put down your phone. It's definitely like dialogue heavy, so it's definitely something you really want to listen to. And I don't have much more to say other than that. You don't really want to lead anyone into anything more than just pay attention and then figure out how it makes you feel afterwards. That's kind of what has been nice to get from people. Yeah.
I think that's great. I'll piggyback on that because I think it's a piece that is very much about feeling. You know, there's a lot of filmmakers we admire who go for feeling over plot, and we certainly are. As you can tell, Timothy, from having seen it, it's not a plot-driven piece. You know, it's really just about these two characters, and you know, they represent a type of people in real life and also in film that are usually not given center stage. You know, they're usually those types of characters in a film are you know, usually consigned, I feel, to stereotype or the butt of a joke or something. Even in good films, you know, they're not the cynosure of the piece. So this is a very human portrayal of these otherwise overlooked characters. But yeah, and also like Elena said, I just think that the performances are dynamite. So I think that if you give it a shot, I think I have faith that you will be compelled by the performances alone.
Wow, all that looked great, and thank you for allowing us to share that with the community. Um, I do have a quick question though. So, being that you both were Cortland High School graduates, did they have a video club when you both went there?
They did. I definitely was a part of it. I
You
definitely
were a
didn't
part of it?
spend any
So you
time
weren't
there.
you weren't thinking news and things like that or videos back then?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I was a communications major in college, but it's kind of like undecided, really, because I just watched a lot of
Well,
movies in college. But
And
I'm
one more
high
time,
school.
where did you say you went for college?
St. John's University in
S-
Queens.
St. John's, okay. And how about you, Vincent?
I went to Purchase where I my major while I was there, but I didn't graduate college. But while I was at SUNY Purchase, I majored in cinema studies. But they had a really, I mean, they're a great school for film and dance. So they actually had a legitimate film conservatory where you learned how to make films, which I was not enrolled in. However, I did make some really close friendships, and I was involved all the time with the filmmakers, acting and so forth. And
You learned the game.
yeah. But at Cortland High, I took advantage of the old school like editing system they had there. I think I kind of gained access via my photography class, and and then senior year I did the alternative class through BOCES, the
New
environmental
Visions?
environment. What was it, Lane?
What was it called? New Visions or something?
Yeah, New Visions, I guess. Yeah, with Tim
Am I wrong? That
Sandstrom.
sounds a little off.
Yeah, and so for them, I did a lot of films in class, and I would bring them back to Cortland High and cut them there. And that was all. That was like the old school manual system. At that time, I was good at that stuff. I've become much less technically inclined, but like when you're younger, I guess, and you're not, you're
You
not.
have iPhones.
Right. Yeah, no iPhones.
Vince just got his first iPhone in 2021.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, there were some cool opportunities. I had some great teachers that kind of, let me do my thing, and it wasn't a bad breeding ground for some trying out some things, and you know.
I'm gonna make sure that I share this with those groups. So, what years did you go to Purchase, and then what years did you go to St. John?
I graduated from Cortland in 2009, so I went to St. John's. I graduated in 2013.
Okay. And then how about you, Vincent? When did you go there?
I graduated Cortland High in 2005, and then I was at Purchase from 2005 to 2006.
Okay.
And that was it. Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, you made the most out of that year. You made the connections. I mean, you guys.
You did make the most out of that year. That's where you met your own.
Well, I would never have I'm not saying, it's like when you say, if my parents never met, I never would have been like, you may have been, it would have been a different permutation of you, your soul would have wound up somewhere else, I think. So if I didn't go to Purchase, I'm not saying I never would have made, I think I would have just, it would have went a different way. But I met people at Purchase that introduced me to my one of my best friends and cohorts, Jerome Rame, whom I then went on to create our first feature with. So if not for that year I spent at Purchase, I never would have met that guy, and that life would be different.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody for viewing this. Now you both got to meet Vincent and Alena. Alena's right now, once again, she's, as you see in the background, she's with the PowerCast and everything, and they're about to film again, so she's got to go. Vincent's doing it big out there as well. I hope to have a part 2 with you both. Maybe like my favorite color is green. Maybe I can get a hoodie too. I can be Party Sticks and Shaw, and we can make it happen. But I appreciate you both. God bless you, and to everyone watching, thank you for choosing the Cortland Voice.
Thank you, Timothy.
Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.